painters in the year 2021. Action Yu-Gi-Oh! You've got my attention. Man, I love Rogue, as I'm sure many of you guys do. So Action Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Actions Yu-Gi-Oh! On YouTube uploaded this. This was a second place profile for frickin' Weather Painter, baby. We have some other Rogue on here. Well, meta/Rogue for you guys as well. So, you guys love Dimension Shifter the deck, right? Like, you just Shifter Boy, laugh at your opponent. We don't have a side deck for this, but that's perfectly fine, alright? So, we have triple copies of the Weather Painter Snow. This is going to let you place your weathery canvas on the field for essentially free. Triple copies of Weather Painter Thunder. You get to rotate your canvas. We have 2 copies of Cloud. Alright. If another face of Weather Painter you control sends the graveyard, target up to 2 Weather Painter spell and trap cards in graveyard, place them face up in your spell and trap card zone. So we got Recursion here. And we play 1 copy of Painter Sun. If this card is in your graveyard, you can send a continuous canvas or spell or trap card you control to special summon this card in defense position. So we get Revival. Alright, and then we have 1 copy of Aurora. So this one's a little bit higher in level. That's not a bad thing. When this card is normal summon, you can place 1 canvas from your hand deck or graveyard face up in your spell and trap card zone. And your opponent cannot target the weather spell and trap cards you control with card effects. And they cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. This nice little card here says no to your opponent, alright? So you just deny your opponent any real chance at trying to make game progression. We have 1 copy of the Weather Painter Rain. Then we have triple copies of Astral Blossom, Enjoy Spring. And then we have triple copies of D-Shifter. D-Shifter is the hard carry in this deck, alright? Like, the amount of progression and abuse that you can shove onto your opponent because of this card's existence is great, alright? Like, honestly, this is probably the best card we've got going for us as an asset hand trap for this deck. Alright, so we have triple copies of the Snowy Canvas, 1 copy of Rainy Canvas, triple copies of Extra. I think a few people were talking about wanting to play Prosperity in this, but I don't think Prosperity is the way you want to go with this. The draw 2 in this deck is going to be infinitely more value than the blind Prosperity. It's only because like you need to generate those resources so that you can play the game. And through that resource management and creation, well, like I said, you'll be able to start throwing resources at your opponent and continuously play the game. We have 1 copy of Dimensional Fissure, triple copies of the Rainbowed Canvas. This was recently our best addition that we got to this deck. I think 1 or 2 more power-ups and we could see this deck potentially be at the tier 2 category, at least a little bit more consistently, but it'll take some time for that. So maybe new Link Monster or something. We have triple copies of Thundery Canvas, triple copies of Drowning Mirror Force, triple copies of Infinite Impermanence, triple copies of Solemn Judgment with 1 Macrocosmo and 1 Skill Drain. Considering the fact that the spells and traps give the skills to your guys, like, Skill Drain is just the biggest free plus that you can carry in this deck. Extra here we have 1 Zeus, 1 Fortune Tune, 2 copies of Break Sword, 1 copy of Apollosa, triple copies of the Weather Painter's Rainbow. This is why I said, like, we need another asset card for this deck because of this card's existence. Alright, so maybe give us that hot link too, and I think we can get somewhere here. Alright, we have 1 Nightmare Cerberus, 2 copies of Nightmare Phoenix, 2 copies of Nightmare Unicorn, and 2 copies of Yield IP Masquerena, wrapping up a nice little Weather Painter experience for everybody. Like I said, it is a nice little fun rogue deck that you can play around with, and I'm very glad to see that Action Yu-Gi-Oh! Did share this with everybody. Next up, we have Dino Dogma. Yeah, say that really enjoyably. This was a PPG first place, I believe, out of locals that they had pushing towards a new format here. And what's so good about the whole Dino Dogma package? Well, if you guys remember, Dino Dogmatika was something that was kind of stirring around a format or so ago. I think a few people were like, oh, hey, like, this is kind of cool. Yes, it was really cool. You're able to kind of use the Dogmatika package to get access to punishments. Sometimes Fleur de Lis is an extender. This particular build is only playing one floor. It's for what, like a 7-card package here. You get a special summon extender, so like you can make the Logia at like the end of your combo, and then you can go into the floor into the Ecclesia for an extra what, 4K, 5K damage on the field, like for no reason. Like it just oomphs your OTK potential to another level. All right, so keep in mind that you're gaining that consistency for that extra 5K damage on the field with the Ecclesia and the Fleur-de-Lis, and then the Fleur-de-Lis to pump both. So we have 2 copies of Mr. Animador Archosaur, triple copies of Ash Blossom, Enjoy Spring, triple copies of Baby Ceresaurus, 2 copies of DD Crow. Now, kind of interesting to see we've kind of gone back in a time capsule here for the return of Crow, which is actually kind of nice. I like this. We have 1 copy of Pankratops, 2 copies of Dogmatika Ecclesia, the Virtuous, 1 Fleur-de-Lis, 2 copies of Ghost Bell, 1 Giant Rex, triple copies of Miscellaneous Ceresaurus, 1 little Pterodon, triple copies of Soul Eating Oviraptor, 2 copies of the ultimate Beast of Destruction, Tyrannoman, 1 Call by the Grave, 2 Double Evolution Pill, triple Fossil Dig, 2 copies of Lost World, triple Nadir Servant, 1 Punishment, and 2 copies of Infinite Impermanence, wrapping up the main deck. You can get away with 1 Punishment. So easy. Like if you're ending on like Conductor, with like Logia and stuff as well, like the punishment's just an extra button that you can hit to make sure that you have more protection. Extra deck here we have 1 Secure Gardena, 1 Pentastag, 1 Link Karibo, 1 copy of Unicorn, 1 copy of Nightmare Phoenix, 1 IP Masquerena, 1 Access Code, 1 Tornado Dragon, 1 Dugaris the Timeless, 1 Logia, 1 Dolka, 1 copy of Castel, 1 Abyss Dweller, 1 Titanclad, and 1 Anintis. Side deck here we have triple copies of Lancia, 2 Droll and Lockbird, 2 copies of Nibiru, triple copies of Cosmic Cyclone, 1 Feather Duster, 2 Anti-Spell Fragrance, and of course, 2 Ice Dragon's Prison, wrapping up the PPG first place Dino Dogma for everybody. And then last but not least here, James Francis sent me in his Invoked Dogmatika list and said, hey, I've done well 2 locals with this. I've had a lot of success with this, so check this out. And I was like, all right, we're going to do this. So Invoked is still in a really 1-card normal summon start full combo phase. It's still pretty frickin' solid for a top metagame contender for today's format. So also, look at them prosperities, by the way. So you can just take care of your extra deck and then combo climb on up. I like it. So we have triple copies of Alistair, the Invoker, triple copies of Ash Blossom, Enjoy Spring, triple copies of Dogmatika, the Virtuous, 2 copies of Fleur-de-Lis, 1 Maximus, and this is where I love things right now. Maximus really has taken a back seat in some of the format. Now you're getting the chance to see Maximus return back to the fray here as an additional resource build for this deck because, you know, doing your full combo, having a Winda by your side is pretty good. We have triple copies of Droll and Lockbird, 2 copies of Ghost Bell and the Haunted Mansion, triple copies of Gamma, with 1 driver, 2 copies of Cosmic Cyclone, 2 copies of Invocation, triple copies of Magical Meltdown, 1 Mystic Schmine, triple copies of Nadir Servant, triple copies of We're Gonna Filter for our WinCon, 1 Terraforming, triple copies of Talents, 2 Punishment, and 1 copy of the Schism. Down here in the extra deck, we have 1 Secure Gardena, 1 Almirage, 1 copy of Omega, 2 Titanclad, of course, 1 Rasian, 1 Purgatrio, 2 copies of Makaba, 1 copy of Oigoides, 2 copies of Anintis, 1 Winda, 1 copy of El Shell Construct, and 1 App Cologne. Side deck here we have triple copies of Lancia, triple copies of Nibiru, triple copies of Forbidden Droplet, triple copies of Lightning Storm, and triple frickin' copies of Evenly Matched, wrapping up your chunk of deck profiles for this video. So guys, make sure you smash the ever-living crap out of that subscribe button so you don't miss out on more excellent content. Full disclaimer here, guys, if you have anything cool that you've topped with locally, Rogue, Meta, I don't care, DM me on Facebook. I would love to walk through, cover these decks on these styles of videos so that we can show the community that, hey, meta is not the only thing that is going on in today's format. So it gives a chance for people to get recognition for what they do, and I would just love to talk about this stuff. So I'll see your beautiful faces back here later on in the day for some more cool, awesome content. Have a good day. Thank you, patrons, for making the ride never truly end. Without you guys' support, well, I would probably be doing Truffle Shuffle videos for a living. Guys, please check out VanCole40 for all of your Cardfight Vanguard content brought to you by MCole40. And if you are looking to pick up singles, check out mcolegames.com for your trading card game needs. Thanks for watching, everybody.